I would love to learn a little bit more about what is it you do, who's Prashant, what's your company, Doors Development, what do you guys do, and why you looked for, to have an ISA on your team, and what kind of an impact that's had for you. We'd just love to hear about that, just kind of straight from you.
When we looked at the profit when you're doing retail deals versus the profit when you do fix and flip, it's like, hey, it's a no-brainer. And so we kind of shifted completely to that model. And I just wanted to pick the top markets where I see the trends going. And for us, that was Austin, Texas. So, never been afraid to try something. So sold that business that we went to top 30 in the country at. And we did over $100 million last year when I sold it to my old business partner. And then now we're just doing fix and flips in Austin, Texas. It's our first market. And we've already scaled in the first 4 months. We've done 23 deals. I know people do that whole year after like 5 years. So we're on pace to do about 80 deals. And now our second market, which I see a massive trend going also to Miami. So I want to have significant presence in both cities where I believe you will see the biggest appreciation in the next 5 years.
Gotcha. That's outstanding. So you went from California over to Austin, which is a big thing right now, right? A lot of folks making them. I'm in Houston right now, by the way. So I was living in San Diego, a couple of years ago, and so hey, I understand that. I get it. 100% agree with you on that one. And so you switch from retail real estate over to investment, right? You're doing flips, you're doing wholesaling deals. You totally switch hats. It's a related business, but it's a completely kind of a different process, right? So how did you see, because on the retail real estate side, it's very obvious, for a lot of folks how the ISA kind of fits in. Your circle prospecting, just listed, just sold, and you're calling the inbound buyer leads. And it's kind of straightforward. For you, how did you know that you needed an ISA for your business, and what kind of impact do you think that's had for you?
I think you kind of hit it on the head, right? Like it's still like 65-70% same business, at least in terms of lead acquisition and seller acquisitions, right? So in retail, we call them listings, right? So you're circle dialing or going after expireds or FSBOs. Here you could still go after expireds, but instead of saying, hey, let me list it for you and here's my proof of success and here's why I'm going to be the best thing since sliced bread, instead you're saying, screw the agents. That's an unknown thing. You've already been burnt before. What would it take? Convenience, all cash as is offer, right? And then on top of that, we'll target specific lists on, whether that's notice of defaults or high equity or absentee, similar things that you would do in residential real estate. In regards to your ISA, our business was really built on ISAs even in retail real estate. So I understood that for a long time, and we wanted to do the same thing, but in a much more profitable arena.
I got you. So you kind of had the fundamentals down. You had the fundamentals down. You understood that part of the business because you had ISAs, right? You had people hitting the phones and making the calls. Why do you think that ISA role, because, hey, people always say, hey, agents can pick up the phone, make those calls. Why do you think an ISA can make that kind of a difference? What is it? How does it help you? Is it leverage? Like, hey, I can, instead of calling, 50 people in a day, I can call, 50 people in a few hours. And is that multiplier effect? Or what do you see the advantage of having someone just dedicated to that role, the calling?
Yeah, it's just that, right? Number one, I figured out what I don't like to do. And then I always leverage that. And then second, it's leverage, right? So, they're doing a lot of the outbound calling, and when it's a qualified lead, then it comes to my attention, and I get to do what I enjoy best, which is building relationships with qualified leads, finding out what they're having trouble with, and solving their problems.
I got you 100%. So you've got your ISA doing that front end work, right? They're doing the prospecting, they're making the 100 dials to get those two qualified, because investors have a double thing they have to be concerned about. They got to qualify the lead and qualify the property, isn't it, Prashant? It's not just the person wants to sell and is motivated to sell. They have to have a property that has enough margin in there, right?
Exactly. And we teach our ISAs to, we use something called price flooring technique. And we price for them and we teach them, hey, this is sort of the price. Hey, for cash as is, we got to kind of be in this price range. What do you think about that? They say, hey, F you. Then it's like, okay, well, let's move on. But they're like, well, that's not quite high enough, but we're sort of close. It's like, okay, well, we've paid more based on the condition of the property. Why don't I send a home buying specialist? And then they transition them over to us.
I got you. So you kind of teach them that it's tricky. It's tricky, right? Got to get the right person in there that can kind of make that transition. And once that's handed over to you guys, your team, Prashant, do you have an acquisition manager? Or are you still handling those acquisitions yourself?
I run the acquisition manager team, but I'm very hands-on with them. I go on myself or my other managing partner go on almost every appointment with the AM. But we've got some AMs that are very trained that don't really want us there, and that's fine if they're closing. If not, but it's high enough value item that I'll go with them.
I got you. That totally makes sense. That's awesome. And where do you see yourself going? So you started in Austin. You're already thinking about Miami doing that expansion. You've got an expansion partner over there, because I'm guessing you're going to handle all the administrative work in your hub you've got right now. Is it just going to be an AM you've got over in Miami?
Yeah, we're going to get like 4 AMs there, and then scale the ISA team. Awesome. I think we're at about 17 now for Austin. So we're probably going to get to by the end of Q1 for Miami.
Wow, that's amazing. That's awesome, man. Well, congratulations to you, man. You've got definitely pointed in the right direction. Those are great markets to be in right now. And I think that business model is killer. I think you found a really, really great formula. Scale it to the moon, man. Scale it as big as you can make it, because you got the wind at your back. It's a great market to be in. Yeah,
if I can get to 10 markets, I'd love for Open Door, Zillow I offers to come by me.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, I guess in the market you're in that iBuyer, and you're in that iBuyer market. That's your competition, right? The other iBuyers. When that comes up, what do you put down as like your value proposition compared to someone like a Zillow, like Open Door, those kind of guys?
Hey, we're a local team. Here's where we are.
I love it.
Your local people.
It. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give them that
That's
neighborhood.
Huge. I love that.
And
understood.
A lot of times we're usually, I think the target buy box they still have is pretty drastically different than the one we like. For example, they want like 99 or newer, and like they're almost done properties, and we actually want the opposite. So I think it's been pretty cool that we stay out of each other's lanes, but I do think we bring a massive value position for them once we prove we can scale this to multiple markets. Awesome. That's pretty cool, man. That's awesome. Well, best of luck to you, man. I appreciate you taking some time kind of telling us about your story, and you've been massively successful. You've taken the ISA model and really taken it to the next level. I love that. So glad that you're a client, glad to be in business with you and looking to scale with you guys. I want to be on that rocket ship. Congrats, Prashant. Let's do it. Thanks, bud. Awesome. Thanks so much.